for 40 years, I worked not to live, but to build a future for my family. Double shifts, missed birthdays, quiet holidays. I saw it all as an investment in their happiness. The day I retired, I thought I would finally cash in on the one thing I truly wanted: their time. Instead, my son and granddaughter looked at me like a stranger and informed me that my services were no longer required, unless I could find a way to keep paying. This is a story about a father who provided everything except for himself, and a family who was about to learn the devastating price of the time he had lost. "I'm finally finished," I announced, settling at the dinner table. My son, Adam, barely looked up from his phone. My granddaughter, Chloe, a young woman of 20, gave me a polite, distant smile. She has the same smile as her grandmother, my late wife. But the warmth wasn't there. "Finished with what, Dad?" Adam asked, his thumb still scrolling through some corporate email. "With work," I said, my own smile feeling a bit strained. 40 years at the logistics firm. I'm retired." The scrolling stopped. Adam slowly placed his phone face down on the table, a gesture that usually meant he was about to switch into manager mode. Chloe's fork froze halfway to her mouth. The silence in the room was not celebratory. It was heavy, analytical, like the pause in a boardroom before a difficult decision is announced. "Retired?" Adam said. His voice was flat. "What does that mean, exactly? You're just going to stop working?" I let out a small laugh, trying to break the tension. "Well, yes, that's usually what retirement means. I thought we could finally spend some time together. Maybe take that fishing trip we always talked about when you were a kid." Adam exchanged a quick, unreadable glance with Chloe. It was a silent, fluent conversation I was not a part of. "Dad," he said, his voice taking on the carefully modulated tone he used with difficult clients, "I think we need to have a serious conversation about the financial implications of this decision." What Dad is trying to say is, we can't afford another dependent right now. The budget is already stretched thin. Dependent. The word hung in the air, cold and clinical. "I'm not a dependent," I said quietly, the words feeling foreign in my own mouth. "I have my pension, my savings." Adam sighed, a sound of profound, weary patience, as if explaining something obvious to a child. "Dad, with all due respect, your pension is modest. We appreciate everything you've done, paying for my college, helping with the down payment on this house, but that was then. Now, things are different. The cost of living is insane. We're a single-income family trying to put Chloe through university. We simply cannot support 3 adults on my salary alone." I looked at them, truly seeing them not as my children, but as a separate, self-contained unit. They weren't being cruel. They were being practical, efficient. They looked at me and saw a line item in their budget, a new, unexpected liability. "I don't understand," I said, and the confusion in my voice was genuine. "This is my house. I bought it." Chloe corrected me gently, a hint of pity in her voice. "It's our house now, Grandpa. You helped us buy it and we're grateful, but we pay the mortgage. We pay the property taxes. We pay the bills." As I looked at my son's cold, practical face, a memory surfaced, unbidden and sharp. He was 10 years old, standing on a baseball field, his uniform a little too big for him. It was the championship game. He'd practiced for weeks. He kept looking towards the stands, searching for me. But I wasn't there. I was closing a deal 100 miles away, a deal that would secure his college fund. I remembered the phone call that night. His voice was small, trying so hard not to sound disappointed. "We won, Dad." I heard the unspoken question behind his words. "But where were you?" I promised I'd make it up to him. The next day, I bought him the most expensive baseball bat in the store. He thanked me, but I saw it in his eyes. He hadn't wanted a bat. He had wanted his father. I spent his childhood trading my presents for presents, telling myself it was for his own good. I see now I wasn't just building his future. I was building the wall that now stands between us. The conversation that followed was the most humiliating of my life. Adam pulled up spreadsheets on his tablet, showing me their monthly expenses in excruciating detail. They spoke about me as if I wasn't in the room, discussing the problem of my retirement with the detached efficiency of a corporate merger. Finally, Adam delivered the verdict, his tone leaving no room for negotiation. "We think it's best if you keep working, just for a few more years until Chloe finishes her degree and we're more financially stable." "But I'm 65, I protested, the words feeling weak. "No one will hire me." Chloe, my bright, pragmatic granddaughter, already had a solution. "There's a cleaning position open at Dad's firm," she said, as if suggesting a perfectly reasonable option. "They're always looking for people. It's not glamorous, but it's a contribution." A janitor. After 40 years of managing logistics for a national firm, my own family wanted me to become a janitor to justify my existence in my own home. They weren't trying to hurt me. And that was the worst part. They just didn't see me. They saw a problem that needed a simple, practical solution. I looked at their faces, so earnest, so logical, and I felt a profound, bottomless loneliness. All those years I thought I was building a family, but I had only built a balance sheet, and my side of the ledger was now in the red. Later that evening, after the dust had settled and the spreadsheets were put away, I found Chloe on the back porch. She was scrolling through her phone, the screen casting a pale blue light on her face. "Chloe," I said softly, "can we talk for a minute?" She looked up, surprised, and slid her phone into her pocket. "I don't understand," I began, my voice quiet. I thought my retirement would be a happy thing for us, a chance to finally connect." She hesitated, choosing her words carefully, not with malice, but with a kind of clinical precision. "Grandpa," she said. Her voice was gentle, but her words were hard as stone. "I think the problem is, we don't know you. You were always at work. You were the man who paid for things. You paid for my summer camps, my first car, my tuition, and we're so, so grateful for that. But you were never here." Her words were not meant to be cruel, but they hit me harder than her father's anger. "We appreciate the checks, Grandpa, but we don't know the man who signs them. To us, you're like this kind, benevolent ghost who solves problems from a distance. And now that ghost wants to move in, and we don't know what to do with that. Her words echoed in my mind long after she went inside. A benevolent ghost. That's what I had become to my own family. Unable to sleep, I sat in the dark living room and thought about a secret I'd kept for 25 years. A secret I was saving for this exact moment, the moment I could finally stop working and start living. My old friend, Arthur Vance, was the founder of Vance Dynamics, the very company where my son was a mid-level manager. 25 years ago, when it was just two men in a garage with an idea, I gave him my life savings as an investment. Not a loan, an investment. I became a silent partner, owning a substantial share of the company. I lived modestly, letting my family believe I was just a salaried employee, because I didn't want the money to change them. And I wanted to surprise them on my retirement, to show them that all those missed years were not in vain, that we could now have all the time in the world. But my dream had turned into a nightmare. They didn't see a father and a grandfather. They saw a ghost with an empty wallet. And as I sat there, a new plan began to form. A colder, harder plan. If they could only see me in terms of money and contribution, well, that's exactly what I would show them. I agreed to take the janitor job. My first day was supposed to be Monday. Of course, I didn't show up. At 8:15 a.m., my phone rang. "Dad, where are you?" Adam's voice crackled with fury. "My boss just chewed me out. The new janitor never arrived." I feigned confusion, blaming my old brain. He was furious, yelling about how he had embarrassed him. I listened patiently. The first crack in his perfect, controlled world had appeared, and I had just begun. The next day, Adam drove me to the office personally. He handed me a mop and bucket. "Just stay quiet and follow my lead," he hissed. As we walked down the corridor of Vance Dynamics, we saw the CEO, my old friend, Arthur Vance. "Mr. Vance," Adam called out, his voice full of forced confidence, "I solved our staffing problem. Here's my father, the janitor." The words hung in the air. Arthur stopped walking. He looked from Adam to me, standing there in a janitor's uniform holding a mop. His face went from confusion to disbelief and finally to a cold, quiet rage I hadn't seen in 20 years. "Adam," he said, his voice dangerously low, "do you have any idea who this is?" He pointed at me. "You brought Arthur Vance's co-founder and largest silent partner into his own building with a mop in his hands, and you're proud of yourself." The color drained from Adam's face. Chloe, who had come along to support her father, looked like she was about to be sick. "Without this man," Arthur continued, his voice echoing in the silent hallway, "there would be no company. There would be no job for you to lose, which you just did. You're fired." Adam just stared at me, the anger and arrogance gone, replaced by a profound, devastating confusion. I looked at my son, not with triumph, but with a deep, aching sadness. "Why?" he finally whispered. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" "Because I wanted you to see me," I replied, my voice quiet. "Not my bank account, just me, your father." I paused, the words I'd held in for 40 years finally coming out. "I spent my life trading my time for your future. I missed your baseball games to pay for your college. I missed your birthdays to build this company, this legacy for you. I thought on my retirement I could finally use the money to buy back the time I'd lost. But I was wrong, and Chloe was right. You don't know me at all. And that is my failure, not yours. For the first time, Adam looked at me not as a burden or a provider, but as a person. I'm sorry, Dad, he stammered. I never saw it that way. I just saw the empty chair at the dinner table. I saw the missed games. I'm ready to get to know the man who was gone for so long. I looked over at Arthur, my oldest friend. He gave a slight nod. Adam, I said, my voice steady, you're not fired, but you are demoted. You'll start from the bottom, and you will earn your place back. And tonight, you and Chloe are coming over for dinner, and you're going to tell me everything I've missed for the last 20 years. In the end, I had my victory. I had my company, my house, and my financial freedom. But the silence in the empty rooms was louder than ever before that day. I had proven I wasn't a burden, but I had almost lost my family in the process of proving it. And it makes me wonder, was this a story of revenge, or was it just a tragedy? A story of a father who never learned how to show his love, and a family who never learned how to see it. But what if there was another way? What if, instead of the elaborate plan, he had simply sat them down that first night and shown them the proof of his wealth? Or what if, after the confrontation, he had walked away completely, leaving them to face the consequences alone? Can a family, broken by years of silence and misunderstanding, truly be rebuilt? Let me know what you think.